Conquering Mount Scrapmore with Brenda. I'm Brenda, and we're here today with another episode of Quilt Bingo. Yay! Today the dice rolled, and we're doing baskets. This is such a fun, quick way of doing it. Now we have 3 different baskets, 3 of them. And the beginner is what we're going to show you today. The intermediate and hard are going to also be patterns below, so you can get the patterns and the cutting instructions, everything, you know, for these 3 quilt bingo blocks. And this one's going to be really pretty, but this lends itself to being so happy and scrappy and just perfect for the scrap busting. Now this one's actually easier to make 2 at a time because of these cuts. And you can, you get some rather large cuts out of here. So, but before we get into this, let's do our shout outs. Now I have a twofer for you today. Carl at Prairie Quilting and Tracy at Rope and Anchor Trading Company. Both of these channels are just they're working hard, they're having fun, they're showing some really cool stuff, cool and interesting stuff. So please go check them out and tell them that Brenda from Conquering Mount Scrapmore sent you. They don't know this shout out is coming, so it's kind of a surprise for them. Next up, you got to get into those show notes. All of this is into the show notes. Now today is September 22nd when we're filming this, and I'm not sure when this will come in the schedule. So Mini Monday is back with some fun changes. We're doing all blocks smaller than, or a bunch of blocks that are smaller than 12.5 inches unfinished, because we're leaving the 12.5 inch unfinished to the Friday, Free Pattern Friday. But the Mini Monday is back, so we're going to do some by small piecing, some by FPP. We're going to do some English paper piecing, maybe some hand piecing. We're going to have some fun. We're going to have some fun with these blocks. And they're all little cute little minis, and there's going to be some fun. Also, you're going to find the Zoom Sew dates. It's the first Saturday of the month from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. Mountain Standard Time, because I'm in Alberta, Canada. And we just have a blast on those dates. And if you don't feel like sewing those days, come with your knitting or your needlepoint or whatever, because, it's a nice place to come in and hang out. Also, share, like, subscribe, hit the bell, thumbs up. All of this helps drive our analytics, as well as the channels that I've introduced to you today on the shout out. All of it helps our analytics, and it helps us continue to bringing you fun, free patterns every week. Because my husband and I were just having a ball doing this. Now, also, the Facebook group is warm and welcoming. We're growing very quickly. We have a virtual sewing room hosted by Discord. We have numerous fun community chats, including one for Quilt Bingo. And we also have fabric exchanges by country. Now, the admins have asked me to ask you guys, please answer the questions when you're coming in. When you want to join the group, please answer the questions and agree to the rules. If you're not answering the questions and you're not agreeing to the rules, you're not getting into the group, right? That's their way of screening people that, could be doing harmful things within the group. But yeah, if you're answering the questions and you're agreeing to the rules, chances are it's not a problem getting into the group and having some fun. It's always a lot of fun in there. Also, I speak for free, and I have a current presentation. It talks about elements of design, working with scrap fabric, and of course, making charity quilts. I will have a second one done after December of 2025 that talks about other topics that are related to quilting, but I'm not saying what yet because we have all sorts of fun things I want to teach you in that second presentation. And it's just all about having fun. So if your group or guild is looking for a speaker, I will try my very best to make an accommodation and, help you out for free, because I speak for free. Also, your shout outs, I want you to keep them coming because, wow, we're having so much fun discovering channels I haven't seen. I am amazed at the number of channels you guys are finding that I didn't even know existed. So I'm getting to subscribe to them too. So if you see somebody who's working hard and having fun and doing some fun, cool things, please let me know. Now, you can get a hold of me either through the About tab on the YouTube channel, because it has my email address in there, or you can get a hold of me through the Facebook group. Now, Facebook group, I'm much faster with replying to notes and everything. on Facebook than I am on email because life here is busy. It is very busy. So, also, what's coming up after Quilt Bingo is Twinkle Twinkle, and your only clue is save your strings. You're going to need them. And if you're really anti-string or you really don't like making string blocks and you just think, no, I don't want to do that, you can cut from your fabric. You can cut the pieces from your fabric. It's fine. But we're going to have a lot of fun with that Twinkle Twinkle. Now, I guess that's it. So come on in. Let's get to the sewing of Quilt Bingo baskets. Okay, we're at the sewing machine, and we're going to start with the hardest bits first, which is the half square triangles. And the half square triangles aren't really that hard. They're not hard. They're just, you know, you got to be patient with them. You got to try, you know. And yes, there was some odd measurement cutting, but, you know, like you've been doing this now for a bit, so this should be okay. You know, you should be okay with this. Now, I'm just going to go through one row at a time here, and then I don't lose my pattern. And you only want to sew the complete triangles, the half square triangles. So these pieces here, you wouldn't consider them sewable just yet. Okay, and the last piece right there. This one was such a... I love this background. This background is just gorgeous. Such soft colors. Really pretty. Really, really pretty. Now I'm just going to put this one together just because I can. And it's a natural grate. Okay, so. Okay, there we go. Okay, now. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to clip and press to the dark. Now I don't clip at a right angle when I'm doing half square triangles. I'm clipping a little deep, and I'll show you what I mean. Like I go in not at a 90 degree. Like a 90 degree would be this. I'm going in a little deeper just to remove the bulk, right? So that's what my ends look like. They're a little deeper than 90 degrees. And what that does is reduce the bulk in the seam allowance, right? So that's always something you gotta... Ooh, I even put this one in wrong. So that's something you gotta consider, right? When you're doing these. Okay. There. Now. Oops. So there. Again. Press to the dark. Yeah. These baskets, my good, when I was drawing baskets, I thought, ooh, we need something a little more challenging for the beginners. But, I mean, this is all such a fun little one. Okay, now we take the next row and we start doing the next row. Okay, and again, you know, take your time lining everything up. You know, this is not a race. Okay. So now I'm going to trim off the dog ear here right away, and I'm going to press to the dark. Right, press into the dark. So there's that first slat done, or the first side piece done. And there we go. And we're just taking our time, going along. It'll be fine. And last piece here. Okay. So pretty. And we'll do the other side here. Okay. There. Might as well get it done, right? There. There we go. And again, just trim a little deeper than 90 degrees, right? Because that way, if you were doing a whole quilt of this, there'd be a lot of heavy joints, right? You'd have a lot of things where a bunch of fabric is meeting, and it would not necessarily be the best. Okay, let's turn all this stuff over just like that. Go like this. Okay, just there. Then there. Yeah, this soft pink, green, red. This is such a pretty background. I have no idea where I got this fabric. And I'm not sure I bought it, but wow. Was it ever pretty? So pretty. So lovely. And next one up is this. Okay. And now with this piece, you want to trim off that dog ear right away. Okay, and then trim to, or push to, the dark side, there. Okay. Yeah. This would be perfect. This is a perfect scrap buster. Because if you have a bunch of half square triangles, and we'll just do this last row here, just to make it a little easier for everybody. If you have a bunch of half square triangles that are, you know, going to fit in here, this would be the perfect place to use them, because you have everything, you know, you have everything that you need here, you know, and you can do scrappy backgrounds. You know, a scrappy low volume background would be perfect in here, right, with all the different colors. I find sometimes I like my blocks to have all of the same background within the block, but you don't have to have that. You don't have to do that. That's the beauty of these basket blocks, is all your half square triangles could be different, and it would still look lovely. Let's get this last one off here, and you got some bunch of crazy African prints my girlfriend gave to me, and I thought, ooh, we're going to use these all up. And look at the bright yellow. Bright yellow. There we go. Okay. Now, what we're going to do next is we're going to put these in rows. We're going to sew the row together. Just let me get this last one. So, we're going to sew the rows together. So the first row is 4, and then the next one is this with that half square triangle, right? Then this one, and then this one. And that way, then we will be assembling all of this area 2 by 2, and then, you know, all of a sudden there'll be 4, right? So that is the easiest way to assemble this. We did this just to speed things along, but you get what I'm saying. Okay, now, there we go. 1 and 2, there. All right, there we go. This one. Okay. And then this one. Now, when you're doing this one, these ones here that are just all by themselves, you want to make sure you get that right perfectly aligned. So now we take this. Okay. So now we open this up and we get the next one. Okay. There and there. So there. Now this one goes here. Now we see that we need these two sewn together. So we're getting those all put together. And we're just going to push away. Ooh, I'm going to see the red. I'm just going to push this, press to the dark. Press to the dark. Get this away from that. And then this goes on here. Oops. Okay. And the last piece is here. There we go. Okay. Now, okay, so this one goes here, and this one goes here, and this one goes here. So we're just going to add this one on here, just like so. Okay. There. There, get that off. Okay, now you want to press into the red, because you can't have that red show through. And you're going to press just like so. Now, okay, there, and I'm just going to run this through as another leader ender. Oh yeah, this is darker on this side. Boy, these leader enders. I went through my yellow bucket of crumbs trying to get another crumb carnage done, and it's like, wow, this never ends, does it? Okay, again, press to the dark and put this down. Now, here's where you have a difficulty. When you're putting together this particular basket, it doesn't matter how you do this. You could do just these, but you'd have a Y seam here, or you could do all of them and have 2 Y seams as you're putting on this part of the basket. It's up to you how you want to do this. I'm going to show you how to do it the hard way, because that would be the most efficient way of doing it. But like I say, you know, you guys got to find your own way here to do some of this stuff too. Now, okay, so here we go. I'm going this way. There. And this way. There we go. Everything lines up nice and neat. Very cool. And clip that off, get another leader ender in. Yeah. Yeah, so my friend gave me a bunch of African prints, and so pretty, so vibrant, so crazy, and just lovely in every way. And I'm just so happy to use them as part of my yellow crumb carnage. She's given me other stuff too that was just stunning. So, okay, so now we've got these all nested, right? So what we did is we nested all of this to get this as bestly pressed as we could. And oh dear, there we go. And now we're going to press one way or the other. Then we're going to line this one up with this. And again, we're going down, so this one goes up. Okay. There, that goes up, 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 up. That goes down. All right, there we go. There. And now, and there. Oh, does that work? Yes, perfect. And take your time sewing those little triangles together, because wow, they can be quite the thing. So anyways, all these African prints are batik, and they're just lovely, just lovely. Okay, so now this is the last piece that's gonna go on. Okay, so now let's see, we've got, wait a minute, there we go, line it up nice and neat. This one's going down. Yes, perfect. There we go. Okay, another leader ender. Yeah. There. Okay, now with this, okay, so all of this stuff looks like it's going to go that way. Well, it could go this way too. Okay, let's just make that happen. Less show through. Just by switching the directions of your seams, you can, get this kind of pressed this way. So now this is where we're at. We've got this and this. So I'm going to put these two together because I can. And this is a very long bias seam. So I want that to go here. Oops. I want that to go here and this to go here. There we go. There. And now, there. And you're going to take the other end, just line it up. Line it up. You haven't cut off any dog ears, so you're good. And you're just going to sew this way. There we go. And there you go. And another leader ender. I know. It's like, wow. I have so many of them. If you saw the pile of stuff I'm working with right now, I'm just doing triangles. There's so many other things I could be doing in that little box, but this is why I'm doing triangles for now. So this, oops. This now becomes, you want to press to the dark. So I want to press to the basket base. Okay. So now, this is what this looks like. Okay. So you're not doing a Y seam, right? Because you're starting at this edge and you're sewing down. And then you're starting at this edge and sewing down. And then you're sewing this across. So there's no Y seam. It looks at first like it's a Y seam, but it's not. So don't panic. It's fine. If you're doing Y seams, I would let you know that you're doing Y seams if you're a beginner. Here. Okay. Now. Here, now this gets, okay, straight across. There we go. And get another leader ender on. Okay. Oh, it's brighter. Okay, now you just push that away, right? Away from the basket. Now you're going to put on this side. And again, you're going to line this up. You're going to take your time, line it up. Oops, line this all up. There we go. All right. Yeah. There, and you're going to sew it the way it needs to be pressed. There we go. I just sewed that on wrong, didn't I? Ah! I did. I sewed it on wrong. I sewed it on the wrong side. Yes, I did. Yes, I did, indeed. I'm just going to clip that like so. And I'm going to see if I can't grab my trusty stitch ripper. I sewed it on. Yes, people do that all the time. They sew in the wrong spot. Now, there's a couple ways you can do this. None of this on the edge here is bias, right? So sometimes all you have to do is get it started and you can rip it, right? And, and you're not pulling hard to get it unsewn, but you are pulling a bit. Now I'm just going to, I don't know why I did that, but I did. So I'm just going to pull the loose threads out and move them out and get all this loose bits and bobs of thread. And I want to inspect this edge too, because none of my seams have fallen apart, right? When you're doing that. When you do something like that, sometimes you have to rip it like that. You have a bunch of seams that fall apart, and it's like you have to resew just the edge. Sometimes, sometimes not. Sometimes you're okay. But yeah, it's never fun. I was supposed to sew this side. Just so you know, people, yes, I do it too. Yes, I can. I can do that too. I can make mistakes. It's fine. It'll be fine. Here we go. Now, here. Get that off. There we go. At least you know how I work my stitch ripper, right? Okay. There we go. Now, get another leader ender. And I'm going to put all this stuff with the craziest prints I can find. There we go. Another leader ender. And run that through. And clip it off. Okay, and push away from the basket. Right, now you have a choice. You can trim off those little dog ears, which I will, because I just don't like the look of them. And this is where you're putting this piece. So, oops, I'm going to move this out of the way. There we go. Yes, even I make mistakes. So there, it's okay. Well, I can make mistakes too, and just when you make a mistake, don't be hard on yourself. Laugh it off, you know. And now I'm going to try and make that point at the bottom of the basket where the blue meets the green. And there we go. Right. There. And another leader ender. Okay, there we go. There. Alrighty. There. Oops, there. So now this just gets pushed this way, and you've still got a nice point on this base. Okay, so let me give this a good press, and then I'll scratch out all the stitching here on the edge. You can do that just with your finger. This one has one of these rubbing things. I mean, I have some success removing the lines, the stitch lines. I have more, my fingers are always attached, so I know where they are, where this thing gets lost in the heap. But yeah, you can just scratch out your stitch marks on with this thing, right? The end of your stitch ripper, like if you have one of these. But yeah, so, and it also pulls out all the loose threads, so that's kind of handy too. Okay, so I'll give it a good press and we'll get ready for our ta-da moment. Okay, so this is our basket block that we just sewed up for the beginner. It's the hardest thing about this is doing your half square triangles, and it's really a lovely block once you finish it and you get to lay it all out. And you know, like, yeah, there's some shortcuts we could take. Like, you could match your middles by folding the corners and making a divot, matching your divots with your blue. We didn't do that, but if you're having problems putting this block together, that's a good one to try it on. You watched me even put it on wrong, and you also saw how fast it comes off with a seam ripper, right? So you guys know how to do some seam ripping as well. Now, this was the beginner block. Very pretty. And these baskets lend themselves to doing 2 at a time because of that big half square triangle that you're cutting for both a low volume and a color piece. But this is the intermediate one. Now, the intermediate one was a lot of fun to put together, and again, it lends itself to do 2 at a time. You have some Y seams going on, and the Y seams just make the block lie a little flatter. I know you're sitting there like, oh, more Y seams. Like I say, there's more than one thing going on with the intermediate blocks, right? So we had a little bit of fun with this one, and it came together really, really quite cute. And I probably needed a bit more, a darker blue, a little bit darker blue to get better contrast, but this one works. It does work. Now for the hard, I decided I wanted a little Lemoyne Star thing going on, and we decided to play a little bit, and we used darker tones, and we had some fun stripe low volume. And the trick, instead of applique for your stem, if you cut your stem 1 inch, like 1 inch plus, I think it's like 4 inches or whatever, if you cut it one inch by 4 inches, you can just slit this triangle in half from, you know, the tip to the base, sew in your stem and on both sides, and you have the perfect block. You don't have to applique. That was something. But again, you also have the Y seams, and you have a few other things, and you're going, why does she do this? But anyways, this one was a lot of fun to come up with, and we had some fun with this, you know, with this little star plant as well. So anyways, I hope you guys have an absolutely awesome week ahead, and life is treating you grand, and your 1/4 inch is perfect, you know. So you guys take care and stay well until we see each other again. Okay, bye! My husband and I would like to thank you for all of your support and watching our videos and sharing and liking. It has just been, you've put us on such an amazing journey, and we are having so much fun. I hope everything is going so well in your life, and you know, your 1/4 inch is perfect. Everything is working out for you. And we're just so happy to be part of your lives, and you having, like I say, you're watching us. I was just so thrilled that you're doing that. So I want to say goodbye, and I want to thank you with all my heart. Okay? Take care. Bye.